Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel Chemistry by ANR. Today we are going to discuss about physical and chemical changes. So regarding physical change, both are changes, but yes, one is a reversible and the other is a non-reversible process. A physical change means change in the physical properties. Thus, we can say that in such change, no new substance are formed in a physical change. No new substance are formed. Okay, so on the other hand, what happens in some of the changes, new substances are formed, new compounds are formed, which has new properties or different properties. So for a physical change, we can say number one, no new substance is formed. No new substance is formed. That is the first and foremost thing we should keep in mind, that in a physical change, no new substance is obtained. So in a chemical change, we can say that new substances are formed. Right now, I am not making a table and differentiating. Just note down the points, what happens. So if I say there no new substance is formed, that means the original substance do not change its identity. Okay, so that means it's just a physical change, so it does not change its identity. So no change in identity occurs. So this we can actually understand if we consider the changes in state of liquid to solid and solid to liquid. Like if I say water to formation of ice, and from ice we are getting back water. So that is, one is freezing and the other is melting or liquefaction. So melting. Just by changing the conditions, we can get back the original state from which we had started. So freezing of water to form ice or melting of ice, it's a physical change. Like boiling of water and condensation of steam, both are physical change. Why? Because when we say boiling of water, then liquid changes to its vapor state, so we can say liquid to gaseous form, and condensation is the gaseous to the liquid form, so it is coming back to the original state. So first thing, no new substance is obtained, thus there is no change in its identity. And here what we are saying is, it is a reversible process. So it can be reversible. So which type of processes or changes are said to be reversible? That which can be returned to the original state. Okay, so to which you had actually, from which you had actually started the process. So thus a physical change is also a reversible change. They can be returned to the original state. That is what is written here. Okay, so next let us see. Some more examples are given. See, melting of ice to form water in the pictures, boiling of water to form steam. These things are reversible and so they are physical changes. Now, glowing of the filament. Now, glowing of the filament of an electric bulb. Electric bulb, when we say the bulb start glowing when the switch is on, because the electric current passes through the filament. As soon as you switch off, the filament returns to its original condition, the bulb will stop glowing. Okay, it again cools down, it stops glowing. So what is happening? You can return that condition to the original condition. Thus, it is a physical change. Now, making of a solution is a physical change when, if I take, suppose, dissolve common salt in water, dissolution process. So dissolution process of common salt in water, we consider it to be a physical change, not a chemical change. Because though we get a solution, the property of the salt, the property of water remains over there, but here we cannot isolate it physically, but we need to heat it, and thus what happens, we can isolate the two also. Now, if we taste the two, then we will get similar taste. So the properties also remain. Thus, making of solution is a physical change, or rather I can say a dissolution process is a physical change. Next, the one which I have highlighted, a glass tumbler breaking down. The breaking of the glass tumbler is a physical change because it forms pieces. Now, each broken piece has its own identity now. You may think in this case, if a glass tumbler is breaking down, we cannot join them and form the tumbler again. Though we can form a new shape out of it, no new substance is formed. Only the size and shape of the glass has changed, but no new substance is formed. So then what we can consider? It maintains its own identity. The glass remains glass only. So it is a physical change. Another point I would like to emphasize, that a physical change is considered to be a temporary change. Okay. Now it is a temporary change. Temporary change, why? Why? Because it can be reversed to its original form. So it is a temporary change. Okay. So melting of wax is a physical change. Now, making a fruit salad, dissolving of salt or sugar in water, sublimation of camphor. So all these things, camphor is sublimable in nature. So if you actually consider the process of sublimation, it goes to the vapor phase, but again the vapor phase can return to the solid. Okay, so this is considered to be physical change. Now, in contrary to this, what is a chemical change? Now, if I compare each and every point, first point under physical change, I said no new substance is formed. So under chemical change, obviously I will say that new substances are formed. That's why it's a chemical change. Number one will be new substances will be obtained. Okay, so new substances formed, number one. Next, under physical change, no change in identity. So here it will be change in identity is obtained. Change in identity, a completely new thing is obtained. So change in identity. Now, number three over this side, that is for physical change, was the process is reversible. So here we can say chemical changes are irreversible and you cannot return back to the original form, because it is irreversible process, and so for this reason it is a permanent change. So these are the vital or very essential points of difference. Okay, so chemical changes, in chemical change a new substance is obtained, so the identity of the original substance is already lost, and so it's irreversible. And since it is irreversible, it is permanent change. So one property is related to the other. So now let us see the text. So new substances are formed. We have discussed change in their identity. We have discussed converted into entirely new substance. This also we have said. So such examples are what? They are usually irreversible. Some common examples: burning of magnesium, ribbon or wire. When you burn magnesium, magnesium is Mg. If it is in the ribbon form or it is in the wire form, burning means reaction with oxygen. It forms a new substance which is known as magnesium oxide. It is magnesium oxide. and this magnesium oxide is a white or grayish powder, and this burning process or combustion process takes place with a dazzling light. Okay, so it is an irreversible change. Why? Because if I want to get back the magnesium and oxygen, I cannot. Okay, so it is irreversible. So next, rusting of iron. Once iron has got rusted, had formed its oxides in the presence of oxygen and moisture. Remember that rusting of iron actually involves what? It involves a reaction with oxygen and with moisture. And it forms what? It forms its oxide of iron. Okay, so it forms oxide of iron. Now, if I want that, okay, fine, the iron has got rusted, I want the iron back now. That means the iron oxide from where I want the previous identity, the iron. I cannot do so. I can prevent the process of rusting. I can increase the age of the iron, but I cannot actually reverse the process. Ripening of fruits. Ripening of fruits occur here if I say that I want back the original raw fruit, unripened one. I cannot. It's a natural change and it is actually not under our control. So what is happening if I want that raw fruit, unripened fruit back? It cannot happen, and so it is a chemical change. Now, in that case, you may think that, ma'am, in the breaking of glass, you said it is a physical change. If we want the glass back, we cannot. Actually, keep in mind, I said breaking of glass tumbler or glass. That is what? Glass is remaining glass. Now here you may think कि the fruit is remaining fruit. Then why this is a chemical change? Ripening is a process. Now ripening, when it happens, the fruit ripens due to some changes within it. So this change cannot be reversed. So it is a chemical change. Formation of curd from milk. Once you get the curd and you say, no, I don't want to have the curd, I want the milk back. Can you get it back? You cannot. So formation of casein from milk also. Suppose you get the casein and after that you want to get back the milk, you cannot. So here I can also say boiling of egg. Once you boil the egg and then you say, I want the raw egg back, you cannot. So these are chemical changes and these are permanent changes, okay, and irreversible in nature. Burning of paper, many such examples are given. This is an interesting example given from your kitchen. That is what? When you have dough and this dough, you roll it to a roti. Now if we say that give me back the dough, you can take all those rolled rotis and then can take it and again mash it and try to form the dough again. But once the roti is baked and then I say, no, I want the dough back, I don't want to bake it, then you actually cannot. So the first example was physical change. The next example is a chemical change. I hope the concept was quite clear. If yes, then do comment in the comment box. And if you have any query, if you have any doubt, please put it down in the comment box and I will be replying to it.